Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Ali McCoist has big doubts about 26-year-old Arsenal player. Ali McCoist has suggested that Arsenal will struggle to win the Premier League with Gabriel Jesus despite starting last night against Nottingham Forest. The Brazilian international scored and assisted in the Gunners' 2-1 win against Nuno Espirito Santo's side, taking Arsenal to second in the league standings and just 2 points off leaders Liverpool. It was an impressive performance from Jesus, with the anti-sport pundit Lucy Ward blown away by what she saw from the 26-year-old attacker against Forest. However, speaking on TalkSport, McCoist has said he has big doubts over Jesus, with the pundit questioning if the striker is the right one to lead Arsenal to the title. Indeed, the North London side have been in the market for a centre-forward this January, though it now looks like the Gunners will continue with Jesus leading the line for the remainder of the season. McCoist said, "I don't think there is any doubt. I think he is a terrific wee player, Jesus. I really do, but I'm not sure he is the forward that will win Arsenal the league." Jesus showed last night the best and the worst to his game, with the striker missing some golden chances, whilst also providing a crucial goal and assisting an Arsenal teammate in Bukayo Saka. Whilst Arsenal can, of course, upgrade on the Brazilian forward, Jesus is more than adequate attacker to lead the front line for Mikel Arteta's side, and the former Manchester City man will want to prove he is the man for the job at Arsenal, with Jesus impressing last night against Forest at the City ground. Alan Brazil says he was not at all impressed by £30 million Arsenal player last night. Alan Brazil has suggested that he was not happy with one Arsenal player's performance against Nottingham Forest, claiming that he was outshone by one of his teammates. The opening goal came from a clever piece of play from Zinchenko. The Ukrainian quickly took the throw in, which Gabriel Jesus played in, and Jesus forced an error from Matt Turner to break the deadlock. Zinchenko has come in for a lot of criticism of late, and Mikel Arteta has seemingly not always been happy with Zinchenko in recent weeks, but he deserves really credit for having the idea to act so quickly and set up Jesus. Nevertheless, speaking on TalkSport, Alan Brazil suggested that he was not impressed by the left-back's performance over the evening. He said, "By the way, I wasn't happy with Zinchenko. I thought Ben White had a better game, to be honest." It has to be noted that no player on either side contributed more key passes than Zinchenko. According to who scored, he managed for the same number as both Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka. It's probably fair to say that the £30 million man has not been as impressive this season, but some of the criticism probably stems from the standards he has set during his time in North London. Zinchenko is so important to the way Arsenal want to play, as he needs little invitation to drift inside and act as another midfielder, and Gunners fans can probably take encouragement from the fact that they did win while the likes of Zinchenko, William Saliba and Declan Rice were not at their best. Martin Keon not impressed by 22-year-old Arsenal players defending against Nottingham Forest. Arsenal legend Martin Keon described William Saliba as a little bit naive following the Gunners' win over Nottingham Forest. The Highbury icon commented on the Arsenal defender after Reds forward Awoni got the better of him for the host late goal. Arsenal outplayed Forest at the City ground and were 2-0 up by the midway point of the second half, seemingly cruising towards victory. However, the Gunners endured a nervy finish as Awoni barged Saliba in the box and pounced on a loose ball to fire past David Raya in the 89th minute. Keon, speaking on TNT Sports full-time, praised the Forest man for his play and noted how he can't stop scoring against Arsenal. Then, the Gunners icon spoke about Saliba, saying he was naive in the build-up and said he is still learning his trade in the Premier League. He said, "What was interesting was the way he used his body. Saliba just gets pumped off the ball. It's good play. He just hits him. He can't stop scoring against Arsenal. It's good news for Forest that he is back in contention and able to play. Saliba is just a little bit naive, but he is learning his trade, and that's the nature of the Premier League." The Premier League is an unforgiving environment at times, and it's not even a case of flat-out errors and mistakes being pounced upon. Sometimes it's just a case of any slight weakness being pounced upon. This was the case with the powerful Awoni getting the better of Saliba en route to goal. It was a personal miscalculation from the Arsenal man, which luckily is a rarity. Luckily, it didn't impact on the result, and the 22-year-old will learn from it. Alan Brazil delivers his verdict on Emil Smith Rs' performance for Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest last night. Alan Brazil has given his verdict on Emil Smith Rs' performance for Arsenal against Nottingham Forest last night. The 23-year-old winger was named in Mikel Arteta's starting 11 for only the third time this season, with Smith Rowe replacing Kai Havertz in central midfield alongside Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard. Despite the decision, Smith Rowe impressed in the role, with Arteta praising the youngster post-match as Arsenal finally came away from the City ground with a win. And, speaking on TalkSport, Brazil was also impressed with what he saw from Smith Rowe, though the pundit noted that the England international looked disappointed to come off in the 71st minute. Indeed, given the winger's injury record, it was a wise decision from Arsenal's coaching staff to bring off Smith Rowe, especially with the game already at 2-0 at that stage. Brazil said on the youngster's performance, "I thought Smith Rowe was good. He was disappointed with coming off, but I thought he did well." Although Smith Rowe had every right to look disappointed having come off with 20 minutes to go, the Arsenal playmaker will secretly be feeling quite pleased with himself. A lot has been made in recent weeks over the winger's future, with the likes of West Ham reportedly making a move to sign Smith Rowe on loan this January. However, Arteta has shown he wants to keep the 23-year-old around, and Smith Rowe is beginning to repay that faith, having started in midfield last night against Forest. Indeed, the youngster has a long way to go before he is back to his best, yet signs from yesterday are encouraging, and Smith Rowe knows he has the potential to become a real asset for Arsenal. Arsenal and Manchester United have made first move to sign £30 million Brazilian star. Both Arsenal and Manchester United have now been in contact to sign a Brazilian midfielder in the coming summer window. Man United need a new striker just as much as Arsenal, and it will be interesting to see if the former enter the expected race for Ivan Toney after the season. But as well as a forward, both sides would benefit from the addition of a versatile midfielder in their squad, and that explains why Goal in Brazil are now reporting that both Arsenal and Man United have now been in contact for Atalanta midfielder Ederson. The 24-year-old is enjoying a stellar season in the Serie A, attracting interest from a host of European sides. According to his report, all of Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, Newcastle United and Paris Saint-Germain have sent inquiries about the £30 million rated midfielder. Ederson has proved to be a fairly versatile option in his 28 appearances for Atalanta this season, able to play in a deep or advanced role in the middle. Perhaps from an Arsenal perspective, Ederson would be able to complement Arteta's squad in both the number 6 and 8, a very useful addition. Similarly, the Brazilian could solve multiple issues at United, potentially even replacing the linked-away Casemiro on occasion. However, it seems fairly certain that competition will be stiff for the midfielder this summer. Ederson first arrived in Europe at Salernitana in January 2022, taking his first steps in Italian football and it then didn't take long at all for Atalanta to swoop in for Ederson at almost 4 times the price Salernitana paid just 6 months later. It's quickly become clear that the Brazilian midfielder is a big talent, hence the attention of both Arsenal and Manchester United. Journalist says Dutch playmaker could join Arsenal. According to journalist Dino Jones in Give Me Sport, Arsenal are interested in signing Xavi Simons from Paris Saint-Germain in the summer of 2024. The well-known and well-respected journalist has claimed that Arsenal are on the hunt for a creative player. Jones has said that Simons could move to Arsenal at the end of the season, but he has added that he would be surprised if it happened. Bild journalist Christian Falk reported earlier this month that Arsenal and Bayern Munich are interested in Simons, who can operate as an attacking midfielder or as a winger. The 20-year-old Netherlands international, who is rated highly by Ronald Koeman, is on loan at RB Leipzig from Paris Saint-Germain at the moment. Simons has scored 5 goals and given 7 assists in 18 Bundesliga matches, and has scored 2 goals and provided 2 assists in 6 UEFA Champions League matches for Leipzig this season. Jones told Give Me Sport the following: "I have even heard that Man United like Zubimendi. I'm not sure he would choose that over Arsenal, but they have a degree of interest in him. I wouldn't rule out a move to Arsenal for Xavi Simons because they need another creative player and they have been looking for that, but I'd be surprised. In my opinion, Arsenal's reported interest in Xavi Simons is worrying for Emil Smith Rs. Smith Rs is struggling for playing time at the moment. The 23-year-old, who can play as an attacking midfielder or as a winger, is behind Odegaard, Havertz, Saka, Martinelli in the pecking order. Now, just add Simons into the mix, and I do not see how Smith Rs would even get the chance to make an impression unless Simons play on the wings." Alan Brazil thinks Arsenal would be unstoppable if they signed unbelievable 27-year-old. Alan Brazil now believes Arsenal are just one signing away from being pretty unstoppable in the Premier League this season. Mikel Arteta's side were finally back in action at Nottingham Forest last night, staying patient to clinch a crucial 3 points. Many may have wondered if it was going to be a night of frustration for the Gunners. Nuno Espirito Santo's team were defending resolutely. However, through a combination of Gabriel Jesus and Bukayo Saka, Arsenal were eventually able to take a 2-goal lead. And whilst both Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist enjoyed a lot of the performance, they were convinced Arsenal still needed one more signing. The duo were speaking on talkSPORT this morning and decided that Jesus, despite all his qualities, wasn't the man to lead the club to a title charge. And instead, the duo had a familiar name in mind. Ali McCoist initially said, "How much do they need someone like Ivan Toney?" Brazil replied, "Unbelievable, they would batter teams if they had him. Do you know what? They battered Liverpool in the cup earlier and couldn't score. If I'm playing Arsenal and I'm a good side, not a team at the bottom of the table, you know what the two wide players are going to do? They are going to come inside every time, aren't they? Just double up on them." And whilst many might agree with those sentiments, it seems pretty harsh on Jesus after a stellar display. Alan Brazil is right to say that a signing like Toney would progress Arsenal, but it shouldn't be aimed at Jesus' pitfalls. The Brazilian was incredibly important at Forest, and it almost seems as if his misses outweigh his goals at this point. Mikel Arteta will have surely been delighted with the performance, even if he too might like to add Toney. Arsenal could have the chance to sign a Newcastle star in the last moments of transfer window. In the dying hours of the winter transfer window, Arsenal could be tempted to go for a Newcastle United striker Callum Wilson. The Premier League's profit and sustainability regulations have prevented the Gunners from spending, but they may try to bolster in the upcoming transfer window. Wilson could have to go for less at Newcastle, and if Mikel Arteta's team makes a good offer, they might be able to take advantage of the situation. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has told Give Me Sport that any deal must be a permanent deal and not a loan deal. The whole transfer window has been Mikel Arteta's Gunners team struggle to bolster their squad. Nevertheless, he will be hoping that Edu Gasper, the sporting director, can make a surprise move in the closing phases of the market. The transfer analyst says that although the Magpies are unwilling to sell, they could have to if a big offer comes from a team like Arsenal. Romano told Give Me Sport the following: Yes, I think that will be the case. It could be one to watch. Newcastle insist that the player is going nowhere, which is the same position they had on Kieran Trippier, so it's not easy. But if they receive an important proposal because of financial fair play, that could be a different situation. Wilson could be a pawn to the move. We heard rumors about a transfer to Atletico Madrid, but from what I'm hearing, they will sign Moiskin, so he is not going to Atletico. Premier League clubs could have an opportunity in the final hours, but it must be an important proposal, not a loan. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.